In this video, I'm going to continue talking about measures of angles. Hopefully you've seen the previous video where I talked about degrees and minutes and seconds and converting back and forth between the different forms. This one we're going to look at some calculations, and I want to make the point here that you can run into some things that are maybe kind of surprising, okay? So I'm going to look at some basic examples first, and we'll kind of build from there. Okay, so let's say that I had these two angles, a 91 degree, 16 minute, 10 second angle, and a 32 degree, 20 minute, 40 second angle. And I wanted to add these together to figure out what the whole angle was, okay? So, you know, if this was 91 and that was 32, we just add those together. Same thing's gonna happen even if we have minutes and seconds, okay? So these can be really nice to work with. So I've got a 91, 16, 10. And I've got a 32, 20, 40, okay? And I can add those together and things can work out really nicely, okay? We've got a total of 50 seconds here. We've got a total of 36 minutes here. And we've got a total of, what is that, 3 and 12, looks like 123 degrees, 36 minutes, 50 seconds, okay? That's what that whole angle measure there would be, all right? You can also subtract angles. So for example, if they give me a whole angle here, and I've got something like 86 degrees, 42 minutes, 10 seconds, and I've got a 15 degrees, 20 minutes, 5 seconds. I could take this whole angle, and I can subtract this angle, and it should leave me with this other angle over here. So you can also subtract with degrees, minutes, and seconds. Totally okay. So let's take a look at that. Same kind of thing. Line everything up. So 86 degrees, 42 minutes, 10 seconds, and we've got 15, 20, 5. Okay, so subtract the 2. 10 minus 5 is 5. 42 minus 20 is 22. And finally we have, what is that, 71 degrees, 22 minutes, 5 seconds. Okay, that would be the measure of this angle over here. Okay, so on the surface you say, wow, degrees, minutes, and seconds. It's so easy, very straightforward. But there are twists. You have to be careful. Where might the twist come into play, you might ask? Well, here's an example. So let's say I had two angles. And let's say that this angle here was 20 degrees, 45 minutes, and 50 seconds. And let's say that this angle over here was 10 degrees, 15 seconds, and let's make this 10 minutes. Okay, something like that. And we say, okay, we're going to add those together, and we're going to get the total sum. Okay? So, yeah, looks good. Add these up, you get 65. Add these up, you get 55. Add these up, you get 30. Okay? And if you're in a hurry, you might just write that down, you might move on, and you've made a mistake. Look at that real carefully. Do you see it? The key is right there. 65 seconds. Every 60 seconds is equal to a minute. So if you've got something that's 60 or greater here, or for that matter, every 60 minutes is equal to a degree, if you've got 60 or bigger here, you've got to make an adjustment, okay? 60 of these seconds will make a minute, okay? So I'm going to take 60 of these away, and that leaves me with just 5, okay? And I'm going to take those 60 seconds over there and turn it into an additional minute. And that's going to take me up to 56. So every time you have 60 seconds, you need to kick it up to an extra minute. Anytime you have 60 minutes, you need to kick it up to an extra degree. You know, if I'd had something like let's say I'd had a 20 over here and I added these, and I ended up with 66 is what I would have gotten after I carried here. Well, now I've got 60 minutes here. I got to borrow another 60, okay? And that'll leave me with just 6, and I'll have an extra minute there, and it would be 31, okay? So be careful with that, okay? You don't want to leave something that's 60 or greater in either the minutes or the seconds positions, okay? You can also end up with some problems when you subtract, okay? Say I had something like 25 degrees, 10 minutes, and 30 seconds, and I wanted to subtract 10 degrees, 30 minutes, and 12 seconds, okay? So you say 30 minus 12, that's 18. Everything looks good. And then you run into this problem. 10 minus 30 is negative 20, okay? I don't want to have some number of degrees, a negative number of minutes, and a positive number of seconds. That's really weird, okay? But we can do the backwards version of what we did in the previous problem. In other words, I can take one of these degrees. Every degree is 60 minutes, okay? So I could borrow one of those degrees and take that down to 24, okay? And that gives me 60 minutes that are going to come over here, okay? 60 plus 10 would give me 70 minutes now. Now this is going to be bigger than that, and now I can subtract, okay? So 70 minus 30 is 40, okay? 24 minus 10 is 14, and we've got our final answer, okay? So you may have to borrow. 1 degree can be turned into 60 minutes. 1 minute can be turned into 60 seconds, okay? Let's look at least one more here, okay? So let's say I had a right angle, okay? Right angle is 90 degrees, right? They'll sometimes use kind of a square symbol in the corner there to represent that it's a right angle, okay? And let's say that this angle here was 20 degrees, 30 minutes, and 40 seconds, and I wanted to find this upper angle over here, okay? So you'd say, well, the whole angle is 90 degrees, right? We're just gonna take 90 and we're gonna subtract this. Shouldn't be a big deal, right? Well, watch. 90 minus 20 degrees, 30 minutes, and 40 seconds. That's a 0 minutes and a 0 seconds. We're gonna get a negative here. We're also gonna get a negative there, okay? We're gonna get negatives in 2 different places. We don't want that, okay? You can borrow, but you need to be careful, okay? Start with your degrees. I'm gonna borrow 1 degree. 1 degree is 60 minutes, okay? So I'm gonna knock this 90 down to an 89. 1 degree will give me 60 minutes, okay? I'll bring that over there. So 60 minutes plus 89 degrees, same thing as 90 degrees total, okay? So I took 1 degree minute, 60 minutes, okay? But I need to turn one of these minutes into seconds so I don't end up with a negative over here. So you may have to borrow multiple times, okay? Don't take it from degrees, okay? Because if 1 degree is 60 minutes and each minute is 60 seconds, you would have 60 60s, which would be 3,600 seconds in a degree. So don't borrow from the degrees, borrow from the minutes, okay? Borrow 1, drop this to 59. If you borrow 1 minute, that's gonna give you 60 seconds. Now you can subtract. 60 minus 40 is 20, 59 minus 30 is 29, and 89 minus 20 is 69. And I think I did everything right there. Okay, so again, there's some examples of this in your book. I wanted to make sure you'd seen it because I don't think the thought process is that terrible to do. But if you haven't thought about it before, it's one of these things that can kind of catch you off guard and you think you're doing the problem correctly. So hopefully those examples help make this a little bit easier.